when you're dealing with constructions, I try to put this file folder underneath mine. Okay? So it makes it so you have something to stab into, and preferably not the table. Like if you're at home doing these on your kitchen table, your mom or dad might get mad if you like stab your compass in and then you finish and you like this big gouge in your table. Okay? So, or in your desk, you'd be like, man, I have a gouge in my desk. Okay, well, that could be from your compass. Okay, with that being said, just a few things. First, all these constructions are in your book. So this first page here is going to be kind of your note page. In fact, this second page as well, the 2 pages you picked up will be kind of your note page on how to construct a segment, an angle, a perpendicular bisector, an angle bisector, as well as a triangle. Sorry. Okay, you'll have, if you look at the second page, number 10, how to construct a triangle with given angles, and then number 12 is a right triangle. All right, so we'll go through all those today. That's our goal. Okay, these items are also in your textbook. So if on the top of that sheet you would like to write down pages 40 and 42, those are in your textbook. You don't have to do a straight out note page. If you want to turn to the back of the sheet that I gave you where you're going to do your constructions and write some of this down, that may be helpful. Okay, but we're going to show what constructions are, so I don't need you to define that, but the constructions that we're going to go through are on page 40 and 42. 40 and 42. Okay? Constructing a triangle is on page 41. All right? So you have your textbook, and you can do that at home as well if you'd like to reference it there. Any questions? How many of you saw your quiz scores on the line? Okay, pump, man. Construction time. All right. Hey, we're going to construct a segment. Now, remember, in order to do this, you need your compass. Nice bow compass is nice. And then a straight edge, and I like the card. I'm not promoting any casinos. They gave them to me free. Okay? 4 diamonds. Okay. So, have your compass. The way you work this, make sure you roll this piece here. These should stay tightened, these little knobs here. Okay? And it's very tough to move the lead on mine, so please, if you need to move that, talk to me about it. If your compass becomes ineffective because one of these things either breaks or pushes all the way in, please tell me. Don't just turn in the compass broken, because then when we use them later in the year, you're going to be going, I got a compass, McCoy, it's broken. And I'm like, well, someone must turn it in broken, man. So it's okay. It happens. Just talk to me about it so that I can get it fixed prior to us using it next. Okay. All right. So segment. To construct a segment. In order to reconstruct a segment, that's what we're doing here. So it says construct a segment congruent to the given one. What we first need to do is we need to draw another segment. So I'm going to take and I'm going to draw another segment. Now you really should use pencil, but I don't have one sitting here that's sharpened anyway. And so until I finish this one, I'm going to use a pen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to recreate a segment. I'm going to draw this line longer than that one looks. Okay? And just so we can reference things, I'm going to label this point on my original segment, point A, and that one, point B. Now on my reconstructed one, I'm going to call this A prime. That little mark means prime. It just means that I've made an image of that. Okay, and wherever I find this point, I'm going to label it B prime. Now when I'm constructing, I'm not measuring. I'm not measuring like with a ruler to construct it. I'm actually using my compass. That's what a construction is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my compass, I'm going to put my point on A, and I'm going to keep it like that and move it in so that the lead would intersect point B. So I can show that by putting a little mark like that. That's called a construction mark, showing that I've measured out from A to B. Okay? And then what I do from there is I take this same point and I put it on point A prime down here. If I can get, there we go. And I make that little mark right there, once again, that construction mark, and where it hits that line, that becomes B prime. I put a point, a little dot right there where they intersect, and that is B prime. I have now reconstructed segment AB. They're the same length. I don't need to erase the extra. We'll just call it good there. Okay? Any questions on that? Yes, Megan? Uh-oh. Okay, so I'll look at that here. All right. Any other questions? Want everyone to try number 2, please? Hey, we're now going to move on to constructing an angle. Okay? So another basic construction we do is reconstructing an angle. Given an angle, we're going to reconstruct one congruent. So number 1, the first thing you need to do, and those of you taking notes on this, now we're going to have multiple steps. So maybe on the side of your paper or on the second sheet, if you turn it over and you write notes for like these, maybe on this page, you're just writing some notes. You're saying, okay, to construct an angle, these are some of the steps I might do. Okay, so just whatever makes sense to you. Because sometimes you'll do the construction in here and you'll go, oh, that was easy. And then you have to do it later and you're like, okay, I can't remember even how to start it. So the first thing you need to do is you need to draw a line again. So it starts kind of the same way. You're going to draw this line, this segment here, and that segment is actually going to become a ray at some point. Okay, so maybe we'll put a point at the end of it, and that point's going to correspond to that point right there. Okay, so I guess you're really drawing a ray. So let's label this. What do we want to call this? Good idea. We'll call it M. All right, we'll go with M. Nice job. So if that's M, this is M prime. Okay? Okay. Very good. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our cool guy compass. Now, remember, when you're making these marks, it's helpful to push hard into the paper. Not so hard that you break the tip off, the metal tip off. Okay? But just push hard enough so that it won't slide. And you're going to adjust the compass to really no specific adjustment. I mean, you roll it so that it gets wider or narrower. There's really no specific adjustment other than you want it to be able to, when you draw an arc here, you want it to be able to hit both legs as you arc through. So if it's like way out here and that's not hitting the legs, then that's a bad thing. If it's very tough for you to move it because you haven't adjusted it wide enough at all, it's just really, really narrow, that means your measurement's going to be off probably at the end. Okay, so you're just making an arc. Okay, kind of looks like a bow in a way. Everyone with me? All right, we're good? Okay. So the next thing you're going to do is then you're going to take that same point that was on M and you're going to put it on M prime. Okay, no relation to Optimus. For you Transformer fans out there. Dude, that's some of my best stuff. Jeez. All right. We're going to make the same arc. Okay. Now notice it didn't hit both legs because there's only one leg. But I've made that arc big enough now that I could try to find where that other leg is. So I want you to talk with your neighbor on how you're going to actually figure out how to get that other leg on there using your compass as a measuring device. Ready, go. What do you think?
One point of it on the bottom where the arc intersected with the actual angle itself.
Okay, so let's call this Y.
So I put the metal tip right there, and then I put the lead on the other part where the arc intersects.
Okay, so you put your metal tip on point Y and you put your lead on, let's call it point X. Okay, so this is Y prime. Okay, so you put your metal piece on Y, you put your lead on point X.
And then I just went over to Y prime and put my metal piece on there, and then figured out where the lead hit. Should be where the line.
Very good. Julian, is that what you did? All right, man. Very good. Had a couple of you. How many of you figured that out? Good job. All right. So from that we end up getting a point. This point we're going to call X prime. Once again, no relation. Okay. we're going to go ahead and 2 points, make a line. And Kerchow right there, man. Dude. Kerchow. Oh, yeah. Nice. Questions? Okay, why don't you try to do that? Okay, a couple things that I've seen a few of you are struggling. Some of you are forgetting that after you make your quick arc here on this, so you swing this out, you make your arc. Then after you duplicate that arc on your other angle, then you've got to measure this width, the width of the angle. So you've got to adjust your compass to measure that. Okay? Just like so. So measure that. So, okay? All right. Any questions? All right. I want everyone to grab a textbook real quick, please. Bring it over to your desk. Hey, go ahead and open it up to page 40, please. Page 40. So on page 40, you should see this construction. You should also see that construction. Okay, those are both on page 40. So they're ones that you can go through, and they go step by step through it. They show the compass. Okay, so if you're working on this and you're struggling and you're not around here to ask questions, you can do that definitely by looking there. Okay? Any questions? Why don't you close your book? Okay? Keep it closed. All right, we're going to move on to our next construction. Next construction is perpendicular bisector. And a perpendicular bisector, what's perpendicular mean again? Julian? It intersects at a right angle. Okay, what's bisector mean? Cameron?
It intersects right in the middle of the segment.
Good, it cuts it in half. It intersects right in the middle, at the midpoint there. So in a perpendicular bisector, the first thing you need to do, if you're making a perpendicular bisector of this line, you're going to go ahead and open your compass up, and you're going to put it on, let's label these, let's call this maybe X, and we'll call this one Y. Okay, point X, point Y. I'm going to put the point of my compass on X. Okay, point of my compass on X, and you'll notice my compass is open up to more than halfway, past halfway down the line. Definitely needs to be more than halfway. And what you're going to do is you're going to start way up here, and you're going to make just kind of a big arc there. Okay, almost like a semicircle. All right. Everyone look at your neighbor's paper, make sure they did that. Be like, wow, dude. You can give them a smiley face like that. You're like, oh, good job, good job. All right. All right.
Good job.
Now, we're going to go ahead and move it to point Y, the point to point Y. And we're going to take our lead and we're going to make that same type of arc right here. And now you have a big eyeball. You know, if you ever watch Lord of the Rings, the Eye of Sauron. It's kind of creepy, dude. If it starts winking at you or catches on fire, that's not a good sign. Okay? I know. All right, so there we go. Very good. Okay, from there, how many points does it take to make a line? 2. Do we have 2 points?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a point here. And we have a point here. We connect or draw a line through those 2 points using our straight edge. Kerchow style, like that. That line now has intersected XY at a right angle. You can measure it if you don't believe. And if we label this point maybe Z, XZ is congruent to, everyone write down the rest of that there. XZ is congruent to what? Okay, Kira, you got it?
ZY.
ZY or YZ, either one, yeah. So we can put a little mark like that showing so. All right, Very good. Cameron.
Will that always get the middle?
That always will get the middle. Yeah. Yep. Because you're measuring the same distance from each point because you don't adjust your compass. Okay, let's go ahead and try it on number 7 there. Amazing. Yes. Yes. Some of you don't have fingers. Let's see. Okay. Good. All right. All right. Okay. Very good. I'll be continually walking around, handing back stuff. I want you to check. And check with me if you need help there. All right, last one, at least on this side. Then we'll do some triangle stuff. But angle bisector. Angle bisector, by the way, this the perpendicular bisector is on page 42. So if you want to list that there of your text, page 42. And then the angle bisector is also page 42. Okay? You reference that in your book. All right, so angle bisector. What you're going to do is you're going to take your compass, and we're going to bisect this angle. Remember, what's bisect mean?
Split it in half.
Split it in half. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. Let's label some things here. Let's label this. What do we want to call this one?
Z.
Yes, Z. Good job. All right, we'll call it Z. So we're going to put a Z there, and I'm going to take my compass, and it's already on a setting, and I really don't care what setting it's on as long as it's nice and easy to use, and it's going to hit both legs. So when I say easy to use, if I make it like a really, 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 really small, and I'm like going miniature arc here, that's really tough to do. Okay? It's like trying to run, like doing the potty run. Anyone have to do that? Like out in football field, we used to make students or players do that. Athletes. You have to really run, really, forget it. All right. No one gets it. Okay. Here. I know. You had to be there. Okay? So, we're going to make this arc right here. Remember, it doesn't have to be any particular length. Okay? And then once you have that arc, you can adjust your compass if you want, or you could try to leave it the same. I'm going to just leave mine. And I am going to put my point on each of these points. So here's Z. Let's call this one, what should we call this? A? Good. How about this one?
C.
C. All right. AC, air conditioning. Okay. So I'm going to put my point on point A. And somewhere out here, out in space, I am going to make an arc. Now notice that arc, it has to kind of sweep a good distance. Okay, because what happens is after I put my point on point A and make that arc, I can't adjust my compass anymore, and I need to then move the point over to point C and make that same arc. And I'm looking for the intersection point of those two arcs. Okay, what do we want to call that point? M. Yes, good. That's what I was thinking. All right, M for McCoy. Thanks. Almost can spell my name in there. Well, M-A, M-C, okay. All right, now we're going to draw a line through Z and M. 2 points make a line. If I draw, actually, it's going to be a ray through those. Draw a ray through those. I'm going to split that M in half. Not on purpose, but. Okay, that ray ZM, is the angle bisector. The angle AZC. Use a pencil, man. Not like me where I used a pen there. Now it looks all messed up. Okay. Very good. Questions? Okay, try number 9. I'll be walking around. You get it? Yeah. All right, let's move on to triangles because they're cool. All right. Construct a triangle with the given side lengths. That's our goal here. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and construct this triangle with the given side lengths. So the first thing you need to do, by the way, this is on page 41. Okay. I think on page 41, let me double check, but Oh no, they go through construction. Okay, so on page, well, we'll do it here, but you can reference page 41. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to draw a line somewhere over here, and this line is going to represent a portion of one of the legs of my triangle. Okay, so if I'm going to put a point here, and we're going to make a segment out of this. All right, we've got to reconstruct one of these three segments onto this line. Grace, you want to call it point M or segment M? You want to reconstruct segment M? Okay, very good. So I'm gonna give these I'm going to give these kind of to you on how you want to reconstruct them. So Grace wants to do segment M here. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out segment M just like we did on our very first construction. Remember the first construction where we reconstructed a segment. Just going to measure that out, put a little arc there. And take my point, put it on this point over here, and put a little arc there. And I now have another point. And I've reconstructed segment M. So we'll call it M prime. There we go. Okay? Remember the good old days where you just had to do a segment and not angles and stuff? And, yeah, it's made it so difficult since. Okay. There's M. So from there, we now have two other segments. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and measure each of those segments. So I'm going to take N. And go ahead and put my point on one end and measure all the way down to the other end. Okay, so I tore my paper, but just like that a bit. Okay, measure it off, Kirchhoff style. All right, and I'm going to take that same point that I had over here and that length of length N, and I'm going to put it on. Doesn't matter which point. I'm going to pick this point. Doesn't matter which one. And I'm going to somewhere up here just draw an arc. So that would mean from this point where I put my compass to that arc, anywhere on that arc would give me length M. So if I like went from there to there, that's length N, or there to there, that's length N, or there to way out there at the arc, that's length N. So somewhere on that arc, we're going to figure out where this other point is. We don't know where that is until we use measure or the length L there. So now I'm going to set my compass up so it hits point L. We go all the way out here. And, see, mine didn't hit there. So there we go. Measure off point L, or length L. Any ideas on what I'm going to do with that lane? Hey, Maggie?
You're going to take your pin on the other point, and then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to draw an arc.
Good, yeah. I'm going to put it over here on this point. So on the other point, and I'm going to draw an arc. And I really want to see where those two arcs intersect. Because every point on this arc has, I could draw a line out and it would be the length of L, but I'm really concerned where this point, this arc, and my previous arc intersect, because that now allows me to draw from this point to there, and it gives me length L. I'll call that L prime. And from here to here, and that gives me length N. Now really I don't have to use prime there, but I'm going to. Okay, there's my triangle. So reconstruct one segment and then measure the other two using arcs to see where they intersect. Okay, I want you to try number 11. Try your own triangle there. Very good. So our last construction is going to be a right triangle. Now, a right triangle means you have what? Yeah. Emily. No. Yes, Emily. More. Okay, you have to have a right angle. Now, which of the constructions have we done that make a right angle? Cameron? Yeah, remember our perpendicular bisector here. That makes a right angle. So the first thing we need to do to make a right triangle is to make a perpendicular bisector, because that means then this corner could be the corner of your triangle. Okay? And so that's our goal here. So using these two, or at least a line, make a bisector of it. So what I'm gonna do over here is I'm just gonna draw out a line. Okay? And since I'm going to have to use this line to make a bisector, I'm going to put 2 endpoints on it. Now this doesn't have to be one of these 2 lines yet. Right now we're just making a perpendicular bisector. So do a right triangle. The first thing you need to do is construct that right angle. So I put my compass on one point. I make my big sweeping arc. That's a big arc. Holy moly. I don't know if I need to make it that big. I hope that fits. Whew, that's a close one. Okay, I make my big eyeball there. Creepy weird, I know, but there you go. Got my 2 points where they intersect, and I draw a line through those 2 points, and that now is my right angle. That is the corner of my triangle. That point right there in the midpoint is one of the corners of my triangle. Now you can make your triangle over here, or down here, or up there. It doesn't matter. You just now have to label or measure off length P and length Q, because notice it says here with the segments given as its legs. What's the longest side called? Emily. Yeah, it's called a hypotenuse. Okay, so that's not the one we're given. We're given the legs. So measured off from this right angle, one length is a leg and the other length is a leg. So what I need to do is off that angle, I need to construct 2 legs. So I'm going to go with one leg right here. I'm going to go measure length Q. And I'm just going, it doesn't matter which one you make Q. I'm going to, oh dude, look at that. That's like that's a goocher, man. That's like perfect. Anyone ever see the movie Stand By Me? Moons and Goochers? Dude, that's a goocher right there. That's awesome. Crazy. I just happen to have that length perfect. Now it won't always be like that. Like this could have extended out. Okay? But it just so happens that this length from point to point happened to be point or length Q. I guess I could have labeled a capital Q, but that's a Q. And then I'm measuring this length from point to point way out here. That is going to be length P, and I need to measure that way out here. Now notice mine doesn't hit that line. I'm going to have to extend that line out so it hits that arc. It's not going to make it, so I need to put my card on there, and I'd have to extend that line out so it goes through that arc. Where it hits that arc, this length is length P. Okay, so now what do I do? Julian? Yeah, you connect the 2 points, man. That's my hypotenuse. I now have my right triangle right here. Some people like to shade it because they're cool like that. There is my right triangle with leg length P and leg length Q. And if you want to label that as the capital Q like they did, it's probably would have been better on my part, but that's okay. There we go. PQ. Mind your P's and Q's. Dude. All right. Any question? How many think they get it? Dude, those are constructions. Awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do is today, you're going to turn back in your compasses. Well done today.